recruiter calls me back and he was like, Brittney, I've never seen anything like this before. The hiring manager that initially, found you and fell in love with your resume, he's coming here to Houston. He wants to meet you.
Tell me how you got your job at HP. How'd that kind of come about?
Yeah, so in full transparency, like quite a few, when COVID hit. And one of my last contracts that I had, it didn't renew, and I was on unemployment. So during this time, I took a pivot and I said, okay, I'm going to educate myself during this time, all things, and apply to jobs. And it just wasn't landing. Literally, I kid you not, probably a month before my unemployment went out, someone reached out to me on LinkedIn. And I was like, okay, all day, every day, people are hitting you up, whether you have a job or not. But I was like, all right. But it was a brother. So I was like, okay, you better be talking about something. And because it was HP and because it was a full-time job, I was, a little shocked, but I was like, okay, but Brittney, why not? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why aren't you ready for something like that? But, I was shocked and I was like, is this real? So conversation, just real casual, straight to the point. And the crazy thing is I went through the motion. I interviewed with the manager. He loved me. Then it was time to interview with his team members. I met with two of them, interviewed. They loved me. I met with another. It didn't go so well. So I was like, okay. So it circled back around. The recruiter called me back and he was like, hey, and I didn't hear anything for a long time. I was like, what's going on? So I finally, in short, find out that I didn't get the role. But I was like, all right, God, if it's not meant, then, I trust you. Fast forward to maybe like a week later, the recruiter calls me back and he was like, Brittney, I've never seen anything like this before, because me and the manager, we really vibed. He was cool. He said the hiring manager that initially, found you and fell in love with your resume, he's coming here to Houston. He wants to meet you. So I said, okay. So I went and I met him, and I actually met the guy who
didn't go well with.
Probably didn't go well with. And it wasn't anything personal. It just, my skill set probably wasn't aligned for that role, right? It was probably a little bit more tech savvy than me being more business savvy.
Okay.
So, but it all worked out. He said, Brittney, in so many words, I like you. I feel that you extend the qualities of someone who, belongs here at HP. And he showed up with a list of roles for me to check out. So as I walk out of this meeting room, myself and the HP recruiter, we go to the side and he's like, hey, let's do it. So he literally took time out of his day, and I applied to like 3 roles, and this word engagement just like stood out to me. I'm like, my spirit is just leaning towards this. I don't know why. So I applied to I told him, I think I picked like 3, but I think it was like end of the week, and I didn't hear anything. And then he circled back. He was like, hey, Brittney, we got a call and feedback. So I interviewed for this second role. And all the other roles, I had to be on camera and professional. But this one, by the grace of God, like the manager, who is my manager now, he was traveling and I didn't have to be on camera. So it was just a conversation. But there was another recruiter that was over this role, but it was another sister.
Okay.
I'm telling you why representation is so important.
Yeah.
So I went through the whole process, and then I finally got feedback, and I learned that he really liked me. I interviewed with someone else who is adjacent to that role, and my manager just wanted someone else to, really interview me from that team. And the recruiter, she called me back and she was like, they like you. In short, we're going to extend an offer. So I'm like, okay, yes, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So at this time, I'm like, okay, God, what does this look like? Money wise, because now I'm stepping from a 9-to-5 world, right? Contracting world to a 9-to-5, and you have to take a lot into consideration. But in short, they took care of me. I'm happy.
Nice.
And yeah, I didn't have to do anything, but it was extremely strategic as far as them looking forward to including diversity, and it still is to HP today.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm glad that worked out that way, but it's just like so you keep mentioning God, it's like so many points in there where it's like, yo, this is not typical normal stuff where it's like
Mm-mm.
signs of divine intervention or something. So it's like I think it's crazy. Like so the guy that you interviewed with initially that fell in love with you didn't even hire you. He's not
Mm-mm.
your manager. He just
No.
felt like that connection where he's like, yo, I can't let Brittney not join HP.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's beyond crazy. I said, God, it could not be nobody but you.
Yeah. So he like
Yes.
literally just took time out of his day to have a meeting with you and be like, yo, here's some roles I think you should look at.
Doesn't even live in Texas. Just, yep.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
Okay. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's dope.
That's God.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats. I'm so
Mhm.
glad that worked out for you. You